What's good, Planet Poke? So I looked at the comments, and it turns out Mewtwo is the most loved Pokemon. So I will go ahead and get a Mewtwo ready named Planet Poke, and go ahead and do some kind of battle with it. But for now, let's just have the comment question of what is your favorite type of battle overall? I mean, you can obviously say single, but some people like others. So let's go ahead and make that the comment question. Alright, so now I'm going to lead off. I'm running a standard rain team, I'm running a standard sun team, and he is running a oddball standard team, which I'm kind of running an oddball standard sun team as it is. So I go for the taunt. He can't get his stealth rocks up, so I take the advantage to get mine up, as he has to U-turn out or switch out to avoid being stuck in here and getting hit after I set up my stuff. So the stealth rocks are up, and he is going to switch into Blastoise. An obvious obvious rapid spin is obvious. And so I switch into Alakazam just to go ahead and fire off a couple energy balls, get this Blastoise down if he decides to stay in. But it turns out he's carrying that Dragon Tail, so he just kind of phases me out. I guess maybe he thought I was Calm Minding variety, but I'm not. So now my Hitmonlee gets forced in. I thought about just high jump kicking him. And I do, but I also thought about switching out back into Alakazam or Aerodactyl. I probably should have done that, because then I could have taunted this Uxie. Or just outright KO'd this Uxie. But I don't, so that's rather unfortunate. And he is going to manage to get up his Stealth Rocks, which is going to be somewhat of a bummer to my team, because a few members of my team are weak to Stealth Rocks, which is, I don't know, not good, really, not carrying a Rapid Spinner, but I figured Aerodactyl would be able to taunt any Stealth Rock setup. So now he is going to U-turn into Ursaring as I taunt him, and I go for the Stealth Rocks as he goes for the Sword Stance. This may be Quick Feet Ursaring. I'm not really sure if Quick Feet Ursaring outspeeds Aerodactyl or not, but Aerodactyl is pretty fast, so it might not, which would be rather fantastic if it doesn't. And I know even if it is a Quick Feet Ursaring, Terrakion is still going to be able to outspeed this Ursaring. So I can go ahead and revenge kill now that my Aerodactyl is gone. So I switch into Terrakion and go for that close combat, which is going to obviously hurt a lot because it's super effective. And Terrakion's close combat is nothing to laugh at. Terrakion has awesome dual stabs. And with a Choice Scarf, he just can be an effective revenge killer. So now I go for a close combat on Blastoise, and that is easily going to KO the Blastoise. I get a crit, but the crit would not have mattered because, again, stab close combat is nothing to laugh at. It's insanely powerful. And basically, he switches into Azumarill. I think it's going to be the usual Choice Banded Aqua Jet, but it's not going to be, turns out. It turns out that it's going to be a sub-punching Azumarill. Those I rarely ever see. It's insanity that there actually is one in a battle where I'm facing an opponent. I figure usually sets I don't see I end up using before my opponents do, but it turns out my opponent is using a set I never usually see before I do. So that's very good, very awesome creativity right there. Not running the usual Choice Banded Aqua Jet. It does cause me to lose my Ninetales, however, but that's all okay because I can go for the Fake Out and activate the Unburden, which I didn't really need to activate the Unburden against the Azumarill, but I did want the Unburden activated regardless, and I go for the high jump kick, and now I'm going to be pretty much forced to keep this Hitmonlee in, because after you activate Unburden, there's no point in switching out. So now I go for the Blaze Kick, which is Sun boosted, but he puts on the rain, so I can't go for another Blaze Kick. So I am forced to go for the Rock Slide instead, which doesn't quite KO, but another Rock Slide will. He Psychics me, and I go for the Rock Slide to KO him, but it unfortunately is going to miss. Rather unfortunate, but it doesn't really matter because I can easily revenge kill him with my Alakazam. So I bring in Alakazam and go for the Shadow Ball on this Uxie, and that is easily going to KO it since it has no HP left. Now he brings in Zapdos and basically goes for the Heat Wave for whatever reason after I go for the Psychic, which I don't get why he went for the Heat Wave in the rain. It would only make sense if I had, say, Ferrothorn or Scissorin, because it would still do a lot of damage to them. But the fact he went for it in the rain against something that doesn't even take super effective damage does not make the most sense. So now he bans an Azumarill, and I figured it was still going to be this one was going to be a choice banded one. But unfortunately for him, it is not, so he can't just Aqua Jet me. An Aqua Jet in the rain would have been ruinous for my team. But that is going to be all, so comment, like, and sub to Planet Pokey, and come check out my channel. Thanks, and goodbye.